Okay, I want you to think back for a second. What did your workday look like, say, 3 years ago? Now, what about today? Yeah, for most of us, they're like night and day. Whether it was the mad scramble to set up a home office overnight or the hybrid juggle you're probably in right now, one thing is crystal clear. The way we work has been completely turned on its head. And that's the big question, right? It's something we are all wrestling with. And it doesn't matter if you're leading a massive team or just trying to get your own work done. Figuring this out is absolutely critical. So let's unpack some of the best ideas for not just surviving, but actually winning in this whole new world of work. Okay, this right here, this is probably the single biggest mental shift we have to make. Work is no longer a physical place you show up to. It's an activity. It's something you do. And that simple change completely shifts the focus from, time in your chair to the value you create. And believe me, that one change has a massive domino effect on everything. So the big question is this whole hybrid thing just a fad, a temporary blip, or is it really here to stay? Well, all the evidence points to a permanent evolution, one that's being driven by some pretty unstoppable global forces. I mean, think about the old way of doing things. It was all about being in the office. It was built on this idea of managing by sight, the belief that if I can see you at your desk, you must be working. But now we're shifting to a model that's way more flexible, more agile, and it's built on something much more powerful: trust and a laser focus on outcomes. And look, this isn't just some fluffy, theoretical idea. Take Pinnacle, a super traditional face-to-face finance company. When they were forced into a hybrid model, they didn't just tread water, they totally crushed it. Their profits shot up by an absolutely staggering 120%. That's some serious proof that hybrid work can be a massive competitive edge. So what's really pushing this revolution forward? Well, it really comes down to 5 huge global trends that are making this whole shift pretty much unstoppable. Let's run through them. All right, first up, you've probably heard the term the Great Resignation, but really, it's more like a great reevaluation. The pandemic basically hit the pause button on life and forced millions of us to rethink our priorities. And suddenly, that 2-hour, soul-crushing commute just didn't make any sense anymore. Flexibility went from a nice-to-have to a total non-negotiable for a massive part of the workforce. And it's not just that one thing, right? It's kind of like a perfect storm. We've got these incredible collaboration tools that make distance feel like nothing. Companies can now hire the absolute best person for the job, no matter where they live. And the tech, it's finally caught up to make it all seamless. But maybe the biggest kicker, it actually works. A whopping 83% of people say they feel just as productive, if not more, working from home. Okay, but let's be real for a second. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are some major challenges. How do you keep a culture alive when people are spread out? What about the massive cybersecurity risks? And there's this very real danger of proximity bias, where the folks who go into the office get ahead. These are the hurdles we absolutely have to figure out. All right, so that's the why. We get it. The shift is happening. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the what we need to do about it. And we'll start with the physical spaces, both in the office and at home, because they're going to define what success looks like. And this is a really important point. The office isn't dead, not by a long shot. The data shows that about 74% of us still want to go in sometimes. But its whole purpose is changing. It's no longer the factory floor for churning out individual work. It's becoming the company's town square, the hub for teamwork, big-picture collaboration, and building that crucial sense of culture. So when it comes to the office, companies basically have 3 paths they can take. You can do nothing, which is, the head-in-the-sand approach. You can make some cosmetic tweaks, move a few plans around, maybe paint a wall, or you can go for a full strategic redesign. And to really build a thriving hybrid culture, that third option is where the magic happens. It's about making the physical space a true reflection of how you want your people to work together. So what this really means is that the whole concept of an office is being flipped on its head. We're moving away from what you could call desk farms, those endless seas of cubicles, and toward creating a destination. Think fewer individual desks and way more shared zones for brainstorming, quiet pods for deep focus, and meeting rooms that are actually built for hybrid collaboration. The goal is simple: make the office a place people want to go, for a specific and valuable purpose. But of course, the office is only one half of the equation, right? For this to really work, your home setup has to be on point. And that really boils down to 3 key things. You got to have a dedicated space where you can actually focus. the right ergonomic gear to keep you from falling apart, and of course, the essential tech to stay connected and productive. And get this, here's a really cool, kind of surprising insight from the research. It turns out that just investing in a decent microphone can actually change how people perceive you. Better audio quality can literally make you sound more intelligent and more competent in those endless virtual meetings. A small investment, but hey, a potentially huge impact. Okay, so we've talked about the why and the what. Now for the most important piece of the puzzle, the how. We're going to dive into the human side of things, the culture, the people, and the leadership that actually makes this whole hybrid thing sing. Let's kick things off with culture. It's one of those words that gets thrown around a lot, but a simple way to think about it is just the way we do things around here. And in a hybrid world, you cannot let culture happen by accident. You have to be super intentional about designing it to bridge that physical gap and make everyone, no matter where they are, feel like they're on the same team. So, a really solid hybrid culture is built on 5 key pillars. It all kicks off with trust, giving people the autonomy to do their best work. That trust is then backed up by crystal clear expectations. Then you can have real accountability because you're focused on outcomes, not hours locked. And all of that is held together by having accessible leaders and making a real intentional effort to build a sense of community. And this isn't just on the company, right? For you as an individual to really crush it in a hybrid setup, you need to focus on 3 things. First is your mindset, taking ownership and setting clear boundaries to avoid burnout. Second is your activity, making sure you're balancing that deep, focused work with real breaks to recharge. And finally, belonging. It's a two-way street. You have to actively participate to feel connected. So what about the people in charge, the leaders? Well, their job really comes down to this super simple but really powerful framework, the 3 R's. They've got to be relatable, building genuine human connections. They have to be reliable, so their teams can count on them. And they need to be responsive, always there to clear roadblocks and keep things moving. And hey, this isn't just theory from a textbook. This works in the real world. Take Dr. Waterford at the City of Sydney. When his team, who had always been in the office, suddenly went remote, his first focus wasn't on tasks, it was on culture and community. He set up things like virtual pubs and cafe roulettes to keep people connected. It worked so well they decided to stick with a hybrid model even after they could go back. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, you realize this isn't just about managing a disruption. This is about grabbing a massive opportunity. We have this incredibly rare chance to build a future where people can do work they're passionate about, in a way that actually works for their lives, from pretty much anywhere in the world. And that really leaves us with one final and maybe the most important question of all. This better future of work isn't just going to build itself. It demands a totally new kind of leadership, one that's truly built on trust, on connection, and on people. So the question for you, for all of us, is this. To build that future, what kind of leader are you going to be?